Welcome back to another video. I'll be honest that I sat in my car for 10 minutes when I first arrived here because the parking lot is so full of cars and I didn't feel like interacting with hundreds of people this evening, but so far I haven't run into many people on the trail, so hopefully that trend continues. But I'm on the hunt for some nice fall colors, but a lot of the trees now have lost the majority of their leaves, which is apparent based on these fallen crunchy leaves, but there's still some good opportunities. The ones that do remain have some nice colors, and there's still lots of green pine needles, and there's a big pond at the park that I'm at, so hopefully that there's a big enough clearing that as we approach sunset, some light might shine in and give me an opportunity to take some nice images. It took a lot of willpower for me to just get out of the car. It took a lot of willpower for me to just get out of the car and come into the park, and I was really optimistic once I first got in here. But at the expense of being negative, I'm not super inspired right now. Really, the fallen leaves are the only thing that are standing out to me. I've seen a couple yellow trees, but nothing notable. I mean, it's kind of drab. I don't know if it's the lighting isn't doing me any favors or I just haven't found the right tree yet, but I was hoping for a tree that would stand out and contrast with its environment. So hopefully that happens. Or maybe I'll see a little intricate scene, a little detailed shot that piques my interest. So I'll try and stay positive. Well, I've made it to the pond or the lake where I was expecting there to be some nice standout trees. I mean, oftentimes there's red trees, but I think I might be a week too late for this spot because look at all of this. I mean, I think I'm gonna have to switch my plans a little bit because I came from this direction. Also the sun's setting right here. So I came through here and my plan was to keep on the trail going this way to hopefully get some images of this shoreline. But I don't know if you can tell, but that shoreline has absolutely zero color. So I'm gonna have to switch it up a little bit. And I've got two options. There's some nice colors here, and then the pond continues back there. So I could get an image with some nice layers, maybe with a telephoto, there could be some compression happening, could be interesting. Or if I act fast enough before the sun sets completely, there may be something noteworthy in this direction where I came from. There's a big row of yellow trees there. So after a little bit of humming and hawing, I think I've settled on my first composition, which uses the setting sun, some yellow, maybe fir trees, and then some cattails in the foreground shooting across this pond. I'm trying to work on not getting distracted as much as I normally do when I'm taking photos, but oh, it just went under, but there's a loon out there. And all these ducks come to see me, which, mallards I can live without, but the loon, I want to try and get this photo framed up and shot before the loon pops back up. Oh, there he is. And then maybe I'll try and capture an image of him as well, why not? But back to the subject at hand. The composition I've settled on, I might end up exposure bracketing. I don't normally do that, but I mean, it's very, very bright, and the whole point is to get the color, so if it's silhouetted, it kind of loses that appeal. But what I've done is frame up the image so the cattails are sort of in the bottom third, maybe even up to half of the frame. Then there's some bright reflective water, and then the yellow trees in the background. It's by no means an amazing image, but I'm out, so I may as well try and capture something. And I'm shooting around 50th of a second, f10, ISO 160, and it's still quite silhouetted, but I think that I can bring up the shadows enough. And if not, then I'll take a second exposure and try and blend them together. Well, I think that came through. I was filming some ducks just for some B-roll, and the loon flew away. So I guess I don't have to put my long lens on now. These ducks are overly friendly. I'm gonna try and act quickly because I'm not super happy with that image, but if you can tell, the light has just really changed. And now behind me, it's a lot more interesting. So I'm going to quickly try and put a slightly longer lens on. Nothing too extreme, but just to give me a little bit more reach. Wow. So it doesn't look like much, honestly, in front of me, but I think these images are turning out really nicely. I've framed it up so the water is cutting through the frame sort of in an S pattern. And then on the left-hand side, you have some nice warm tones from the light and some yellow leaves. Right-hand side, it's also warm, but that's just from the light reflecting off sort of bare trees. And my one gripe is I wish my tripod was just like a millimeter taller than it is, because I've noticed it and I'll point it out now, so I won't be able to unsee it, but there's one bush in the foreground that is sort of overlapping with the background, and I wish it wasn't like that. I wish I could just lift it up slightly, but I can't, so I'm gonna leave it in. But this image is actually nicer than I had expected. Just like that, the light is gone. Not really, but at least on my scene it is. My eyes are peeled. Although I'm heading back to my car, you never know when there might be another composition. But like, look at this. This is gorgeous, but I would not be able to, for the life of me, frame up an image here. It's pretty to walk through and experience, but I don't have the skill to turn it into a nice image. Well, I know those images probably weren't anything special, but I'm actually quite happy with that second one. It took a lot of effort for me to come out tonight, and I think it paid off. I'm excited to look at that one when I get back home. I think the lighting was spectacular, so I hope my composition does it justice. This video may be a little bit half-assed, but not really. Like I'm trying. I'm not doing anything different, but just at least at the moment, being out here before looking at any of the clips, it feels a little scatterbrained, but I'm going to try and salvage it, and I'm going to post it. And if for nothing else, just sort of for my own record, I don't care if anyone watches it. I just want to keep track of my progress, and I don't know, it could be fun to look at and see how far I've come if I stick with photography down the line. So I apologize if this video was shorter than normal, and maybe didn't include as many good images as sometimes it does. But I think it's still valuable, particularly for myself. And if anyone else finds it useful, then, well, that's even better. So I hope you enjoyed, and till next time. Well, I'm at the car. Look at the beautiful red trees. It's a shame they won't be a nice picture, but I will leave you with one last picture from the parking lot.